Alright, so let's get to the exciting part. Because the exciting part isn't always playing. You know, I've made the notes here. So that was the E and the D minor shape, okay? Because you know, in the C box, that E becomes the F, and it actually is the D minor. So in the E box, you drop that down, and that D minor becomes C sharp minor. Okay, so the third of C sharp minor, because that D minor is in a inversion, is the E note, and it's an open. But we talked about that, right? Anytime you do a D minor, you're going to have a bar of some kind, either imaginary. Yeah, if you're doing it just three strings, you're not going to have a bar. But when you have a bar, that top note, the top string on that D minor is going to be on that bar. So let's look at the G minor, and we'll get over to the C minor. Where is that? Right over. God, I'm supposed to have one of them circled. There it is. C minor is part of the D. Oh my goodness. So here's a D-shaped root, and they're saying the relative shape of the shape of the relative sixth of a root in a D shape is going to be a C minor shape, and here it is. I've done the arpeggio, and that's what this says right here. The relative minor arpeggio fits into the parent major pentatonic scale. So here's the D, all right? Now our progression in this case was what? The progression was A minor, remember? C, up, G, F. Okay, what I'm saying is when you're doing that in the G shape, so the A minor, all right, A minor is the relative of C. Okay, all right, let's just look at it this way. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you want to do a D-shaped root, right? Now the root would be, instead of that A minor, it'd be like this. Okay, so I'd have to take the capo off, but it would be something like this. Here's the D shape, because I can get this because I'm down tuned a little bit. Alright, so I would have to bar that way down there. Way down there, I'd have to bar that, right? Bar. So there's your D shape. This is lesser played chords. Here's your D shape root down up there. Now the relative sixth of that is going to be 6R3, and here's the arpeggio. Okay, so let's first play the D-shaped pentatonic scale. And what the rule says is the relative sixth, in whatever shape it's in, is going to fit into that pentatonic scale. So read it right off. None of those arpeggiations were outside of that pentatonic scale. So when you're doing your progression, In this particular case, we were doing A minor, and this is the A minor, 6R3, the 6 minor, 6 minor, 5 dominant. So I can drop this to a F. But you better hit this, right? You better hit this major. You're not going to do a second dominant, because if you do a second dominant on that fourth, okay, you're going to be pushing it into the key of like B flat or F. Okay, it also could be in the key of E flat. All right, but it would not be in the key of A flat, because A flat has D flat as a fourth. Just a little music talk there. So this is what we got. We can play this. If you can play this chord, you know, I don't know if I can play it from the third here. It's a really big chord, you know, and you just play these 3 strings. Then to the G, A shaped G. Then to E shaped F. Now when I first started out, I would play an E-shaped chord there, and then I wanted to see where the root chord, you know, where the roots were. And I found out to my dismay that you don't have root, first inversion and second inversion in all of the positions. Only in the C position do you have all 3 of them. Okay, so I don't mess that up, and you can hear these things. It's that second inversion. Here's root. This is first inversion, second inversion. All right. Only in the C position do you have all 3 of them. I think you have all 3 of them pretty much in the G position too. So I couldn't rely on that. You could learn it that way if you want to learn the inversions that way. But to look at it as an arpeggio opens up those inversions right away if you add the octave. So here's the octave from 3 to 3. This would be C-shaped 6 minor. Okay, so the octave is from 6 to 6. Sorry. So this would be second inversion. It's not 25 or 6 to 4 now. It's 25 or 3 to root or something like that. All right. So this is the rule. This is the great rule that you learned today. Okay, and that is, just remember this by words. If someone says, "What did you learn today?" you tell them the relative minor arpeggio fits into the parent major pentatonic scale. So let's look at the other hard one, which is probably going to be easy now because we did C, and we could do the G shape. You know, same thing. Because remember, C and G are the same, except C is a fourth above G. So if you have this G shape and you have the C shape, you know, it's almost the same thing, except once you get to the second to top string, the root warps over one. That's why you get your familiar G shape where C shape, where with the G the root is part of the open string because it hasn't warped over yet. So with the A shape here, we have the same situation. So we have an A shape root here, okay, and then the relative minor 6 is the G, so that would be the A minor in the key of C, and that arpeggio fits into this, and we're going to play that in a second. This arpeggio fits into the A shape, It's important